Good morning, everyone. Or I hope it's still morning. If it's not morning, I'm sorry. Just for everyone that is in the room, I'd firstly like to start by introducing myself. My name is Petronella. My surname is Linders. I am from the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies, and I will be co-program directing for today. And I would like to start by asking us if it's possible for those that are able to stand, those that are able to stand, if we can stand, and if we can start by observing a moment of silence for all persons with disabilities that may have passed on since last year's Disability Rights Awareness Month up to this year, just to honor them and to remember them, just for 1 minute. And in this minute, we will also observe our meditation, whatever it is that we do in terms of connecting spiritually. Thank you. You may be seated. Those that are able to sit. So for the, I would firstly like to apologize for the late start. I have been informed that we had some challenges in terms of the accessing the venue. So I would like to apologize for any of the persons with disabilities or any of the other delegates that may have had difficulties in terms of getting access to the venue. Please accept our sincere apology for that. And then I would like to indicate that we are honored to be graced with the presence of our own Deputy Minister from the Department of Communications, as well as the Deputy Minister from Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities. They will be formally introduced by my colleague, Ms. Tandim Lalosi, when she comes to the podium. But I just wanted to indicate to the people in the room that we are very blessed to have two Deputy Ministers in our presence for the start of the ICT Accessibility Disability Symposium. As the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies, this is our contribution to the Disability Rights Awareness Month, which is DRUM, that starts on the 3rd of November to the 3rd of December. But I would like to not continue any further. I would like to call on Ms. Vilakazi, the head of the Department of Social Development in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, to welcome us to this place as well as to the province, because you cannot come into someone's house and just start sitting and talking and doing without having formally been welcomed. So if we can please give her a warm hand of applause. You may come, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Ngokhulu ukuhlonipha ngifisa ukubingelela our deputy ministers present this morning. Deputy Minister Honorable Gungubele basazoba introduce kahle. Deputy Minister of the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, Deputy Minister Steve Ditsake. Siyazi ukuthi-ke these are the leaders that are very vibrant in terms of ensure that the rights of persons with disabilities are ensured by everyone in the country. We're very excited that they are part of us this morning. I've been requested to warmly welcome you. You are warmly welcomed on behalf of the government of KwaZulu-Natal, as well as on behalf of eThekwini, because eThekwini is hosting. They will tell you that these activities are build-up activities towards the province and the city hosting the president, who is going to be with us here on Friday. What is important, Deputy Minister, we must appreciate the gesture by your department in terms of ensuring that we look forward towards ensuring that there is ICT accessibility by persons with disabilities, because we always say we're moving towards an era, we are in an era, the fourth industrial revolution. But then if we move towards that era, we will not succeed if there are other people that are left behind, because there is no access in terms of digitization, ICT accessibility by everyone. So we're very much excited, and we are, some of us at DM, we're very transformed in terms of understanding the needs of persons with disabilities. So where I'm working, I came DM, having worked with you that side, we were about 1% in terms of the employment of persons with disabilities. But I can tell you now that we are more than 2%. We're moving in terms of employing persons with disabilities. One of my colleagues here, Chris, will tell you what I also did that worked for us as well, because it's not a matter of employing persons with disabilities. You need to ensure that once we employ them, you then meet their needs so that they are able to deliver in terms of what is expected of them. I sent a team that went to each and every official in the department with a disability to say, we know we have employed you, we have a disability, but the HOD wants to know what is it that we can do so that you deliver better, because it's not a matter of numbers. And some of them, you find that as they gave us their needs, it's a matter maybe of just buying, there's something like it's a food rest. So when the person is sitting on his desk, if the food rest is there, then a person is comfortable and can deliver. Some needed a software in terms of being able to access the computers and so on. I can tell you that they are all performing great, and we are happy about what they are doing, and they're very much excited, because it's not a matter of numbers, but it's the matter of assisting that person, enabling that person to deliver better. We must appreciate, we're very grateful that we can see that our government is moving towards the right direction. And during this period, GATRAM, they want to ensure that they leave no one behind, and there's nothing about you without you. And thank you very much for that. You're warmly welcome to the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Vilakazi. And now we're going to have my colleague, Hobby, who's just going to give us a brief of who is here, so that it's not that we are undermining those that are here, but we just want just a brief of who is here. We have seen that there are also schools, special schools that are here, but she is going to tell us from which schools and who is here. Over to you, Hobby. Maybe let me just introduce my colleague next to me. What's your name?
Denise Snyder.
Our interpreter is Denise, so she's in front of us. I don't know if she has another person here, but for now we still have Denise. After Hobby, there will be Petronella, who's going to give us just a purpose of why we are here. Angithi abanye bethu lana siyasizwa isiZulu. Yeah, ake sizwe niyasizwa isiZulu. Okay, maybe mhlawumbe angizange ngiintroduce igama lami nguThandi Mdlalose. Nami ngibuya kuyo le province. Ngeke ngasho komunye ngathi nami ngibuya la kule province ngapha eNewcastle. Ekhaya kithi kodwa ngisebenza Pretoria. So over to you, Hobby. So ngisekhaya mangila. Hobby.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Khobi Mukoni. I'm from the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies. I firstly want to acknowledge you, Deputy Minister. Thank you for embracing us with your presence, and also the Deputy Minister from Social Development. I must say your department, women, women and persons with disabilities, and also the Department of Social Development. I want to acknowledge them in their absence here because they are the ones who assisted us with mobilization as well. I want to just inform who is here in terms of what I was given. The people are here, they are Born Again Center. There is Chatsworth. They're at the back. They are also from, they are organized by DSD. There's also, they're not all here because of, there were things that happened in the morning. Let me just talk about them. There's a bridge that fell and there was traffic. The other people couldn't come on time. And also there are buses who couldn't enter that bridge that you see when you come into the train. So there's people from Umnini Primary School. There's is in Tombi. There's Equality Ave and School of the Deaf. Those are the people who are here currently. Thank you.
Thank you, Khobi. Others are still coming. You are all welcome. Ms. Linders, can you come and give us the purpose of why we are here at the symposium?
Can you just do? Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Makoni. I just want to indicate that we have invited mostly people from KwaZulu-Natal in terms of the delegates, but we do also have our state-owned companies from the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies. We have ICASA, we have BBI, Broadband Infraco. We have Postbank that is part of the program. We also have non-governmental organizations such as Siafunda Community Training Center that will also be part of implementing in terms of the delivering some of the programs. And we also have private sector representation in the form of Edit Micro, who is a private sector company. We also have people that are connected online. We have Ms. Karen Smith from the from Vodacom SA, who is also participating and will be speaking tomorrow in terms of the program. And we do have also colleagues from FPB that has confirmed, but I don't think they are here yet, the Film and Publication Board. They are not here yet, but they have confirmed. I just wanted to indicate, and we also have colleagues from the Ministry for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities that are accompanying the Deputy Minister, but they are also here in terms of supporting the program. We also have colleagues from the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies that are also in support of the program for the 2 days. So I just wanted to clarify in terms of the other stakeholders that is supporting the program. So with that having been said, I'd like to indicate that as I said earlier, this is the Disability Rights Awareness Month, which South Africa commemorates in commemoration of International Disability Rights Day, which is on the 3rd of December annually. And South Africa took a decision to commemorate International Disability Rights Day as a month, which is Disability Rights Awareness Month, from the 3rd of November to the 3rd of December, because International Disability Rights Day is on the 3rd of December annually. And disability, in terms of how we need to look at disability, is it needed a month, in my view, because we need to raise awareness on the rights and the responsibilities of persons with disabilities, and how government, NGOs, private sector, and all of society enables persons with disabilities to participate. So, as government, we are all obligated by the Ministry for Women, Youth, and Persons with Disabilities to have a dedicated program for the empowerment and inclusion of persons with disabilities. And we have to heighten awareness around those programs in this month, which is Disability Rights Awareness Month. I will refer to it as DRUM. And as the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies, our program for this month is the ICT Accessibility Symposium, which is a engagement platform, stakeholder engagement platform, where we bring together the disability sector, the ICT sector, in terms of ensuring that there is conversation, there is interaction, and there is also demonstration of innovation that is available for persons with disabilities. The three mandates that the three focus areas that the Department of Communications has when it comes to empowerment of persons with disabilities is digital inclusion, which essentially means that we need to make sure that every policy, every program, every process that we embark on as the department is inclusive of disability perspectives. It ensures that disabled people are able to participate, they are able to access, and they are able to afford whatever digital communication or technology or service we provide. The second area for the department in terms of persons with disabilities is with regards to ensuring affordability of access to these digital devices. And hence, one of the key programs is to ensure that we connect South Africa, and that we make sure that the cost to communicate is brought down. And in essence, that's the second purpose of this symposium, is to engage around strategies on how we can make the process more affordable. The third area that we are responsible for is to ensure that there is institutional arrangements and collaboration with the disability sector in ensuring self-representation when they are participating in the digital environment. And in that regard, we are also proposing in the symposium that we work towards the establishment of a digital disability forum that will bring together the disability sector and the ICT sector to ensure that we re-establish or revive what we had in the past, which was the Disability and ICT Chamber. So the purpose of the symposium is to engage, to interact, and to review how the disability sector has been able to access, afford, and participate in the digital environment. And we hope that the participants as well as the stakeholders will engage with us as the department, and with each other in the symposium over the 2 days that lies ahead, and that we will be able to ensure that we take processes forward, and we make sure that people are able to participate and able to afford and able to engage with the sector. The disability symposium is also a build-up program to the presidential IMBIZO that will be taking place in the province on Friday, the 8th of November, as part of the build-up programs of the Department of Communications to ensure that we include all communities. And that's why this one is specifically targeting and focusing on persons with disabilities. So with that said, I would like to welcome you again, and I would like to hope that we are all clear as to why we are here, and that we are able to come out of this symposium with a clear program of action around accessibility of digital devices, affordability of digital devices, as well as participation of persons with disabilities in the digital environment going forward for the next year, up until we meet again in a different province for the ICT Accessibility Symposium in 2025. So we need to agree, and we need to work towards a year plan for the disability sector in ensuring that we are able to ensure participation and accessibility. So thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope that you will enjoy the rest of the symposium. I will hand over to Ms. Mlalosi to introduce our keynote speakers for the day, who are the Deputy Minister of our department, as well as the Deputy Minister of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, that will follow in terms of addressing you with words of encouragement, but also with messages of how we as government prioritizes persons with disabilities. Thank you.
Can I ask you, thank you very much, Petronella, for giving us the purpose of why we are here. Based on seniority, I will request Ms. Nelisiwe Vilagazi, our HOD from Social Development, to come and properly introduce our leaders that are here.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Are you still here, colleagues? Bantwana nisekhona? Bantwana nikhona? Ngiyababona bantwana, they are very motivated, Deputy Minister. I can see those that will be deputy ministers and CEOs, and I'm inspired. I've been asked to introduce the Deputy Minister for the Department of Department of Communication and Digital Technologies. Thank you very much. Ngicela sisukume those who can stand to welcome the Deputy Minister. He is the Deputy Minister for this department, but before being the Deputy Minister for this department in the 7th administration, in the 6th administration, he was the minister in the presidency responsible for DPME, and before that he was also the chairperson of the portfolio committee of the Department of Social Development. He has achieved a lot in life. At some point he was in Gauteng as MEC, so ngicela simukele eze ngaphambili. Is one person who likes development. He wants to see changes. He wants to see people progressing in life, especially young people, especially persons with disabilities. Ngicela simukele Honorable Minister. Abamaziyo ngobambiza ngomondli Gungubele.
Oh, okay. Angithi igama lika Mondli lesizulu. Sanibonani. Asinibingelele uprogram director. Ubani program director Petronella. I must be very careful. The HOD, and then Deputy Minister Letsike from Presidency, women and people with disability, you're welcome. And HOD of Social Development, the leadership of the presidency led by the DM, senior managers from the DCDT, NGOs that are here, and all those dignified guests who are here, ICASA, and protocol totally observed. Are you all ready? Are you ready? Do you feel good? Do you feel strong? Huh? Okay. Can you clap hands for yourselves? We gather here today, ladies and gentlemen, for Disability Rights Awareness Month, which is celebrated annually in South Africa from November 3 to December. Our department's vision is about enabling a connected and a digitally transformed South Africa in its totality, without exclusion. And when we say without exclusion, we mean all South African, irrespective of their challenges. In South Africa, digital technologies play an important role in governance and coordination, particularly to ensure inclusivity and access to services for persons with disability. Our government has introduced measures to ensure that digital platforms are accessible to people with disabilities, and there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in that regard. We want to make sure that here in South Africa, whether it is audio description, whether it is science, communications, all those are digitally enabled. Because we want to speak to all South Africans, irrespective of their physical challenge, and to make sure that all South Africans speak to themselves and amongst themselves, irrespective of the different situations. We want to make sure that South Africans play, South Africans attend events, South Africans pursue careers, South Africans establish businesses, South Africans become political authorities, they become experts in boxing, in football, cricket, music. All South Africans must be able to do those, irrespective of their physical situation. And we want to thank God for making it possible that we as human beings are able to make sure that none amongst us is not able to enjoy life to its fullest because of his or her physical situation. The department, through partnership, collaboration, focuses on the following programs. Program of Action on Digital Transformation towards Achieving Disability in Inclusion in the ICT Ecosystem. Disability Inclusion Program focusing on special schools, and the program has been implemented in 9 provinces, as I'm advised, targeting teachers, learners on digital skills awareness. Actually, the point I want to make is the biggest challenge in our country as we speak, if we were to speak about the ICT ecosystem, it deals with a number of elements. The infrastructure. In infrastructure, we're referring to reliable connectivity, internet connectivity, data centers, and all these other issues that are infrastructure related. When you've got data centers, it means you ensure that you've got a storage capacity that makes sure that those who are digitally capable have got enough information from which to make a living, to pursue their careers. And the second level of the ecosystem is technologies themselves. For those technologies to actually thrive, the infrastructure I have spoken about must be in place. Not only using existing technologies, we must be able to innovate new technologies. And without the infrastructure I've already spoken about, those new technologies are not possible. The third element of that ecosystem is about, because we've got infrastructure, we are able to make use of technologies and we're able to innovate. We are able to respond to different sector solution-seeking questions, whether it's an economic sector, whether it's a social development sector, whether it's an art sector. But because infrastructure is in place, technologies are in place, our research and development enable everyone to innovate new technologies that respond to those challenges. And when all is done, it must find expression in the lives of people with regard to dealing with poverty, inequality, and unemployment. South Africa becomes a participatory country in pursuit of these technologies. I was speaking yesterday to Google to say it's one thing to have partnership, whether it's Amazon or Google with them. But if our country does not achieve its ability through research and development to start having its own people trained to innovate technologies that responds to South African situation in their unique nature, all those partnerships will not work. And I want to say, having said that, amongst other things that are said we are doing, they include issues of capacity building, digital skills, coding for persons with disabilities, disability focus on GBV awareness in special schools, digital literacy skills training, implementation, interventions, disability digital inclusions, employment equity, procurement, and SMME development, where there is an expectation that all government departments must employ 7% of people with disability by 2030 and even more. And DCT has reached 2.4% as of September 2024. That's the record I'm getting. Also, ICC sector BBBE, there is a specific provision in the code for the empowerment of persons with disabilities, terms of supplier development, SMME and skill development, and so on. Program Director, on International Girl in ICT Day Department, on International Girls in ICT Day, the department deliberately included girls with disabilities in the 2024-25 program. This globally initiated program launched by UNICEF and I2U, has been celebrated annually, aiming to inspire girls and young women to pursue careers in STEM and explore the benefits of ICT with inclusion with persons with disabilities. The program was hosted in Gauteng, live streamed in some schools in the provinces. The cost of digital assistive technologies is one of the most significant barriers in South Africa. Many advanced devices, such as screen readers, refreshable braille displays, smartphones, smart prosthetics, AAC devices, and adaptive software, are expensive and often unaffordable for low-income individuals or families. These are issues that we need to resolve. For instance, South Africa, we speak of more than 60% access to internet, but we still speak of unaffordable smartphones. We have already made a submission to Treasury to look at reviewing the taxation of cell phones so that our people have got easy access to these devices. Because without these devices, whilst we're still pursuing a full connection in terms of fiber and other things, this is an immediately available device for them to actually interface with the internet. So, Department of Finance is dealing with that. While some government support exists, the funding is limited and may not cover the full cost of more advanced or specialized devices. I've already spoken about that. Our recommendation, therefore, is about partnership with organizations specializing in disability rights to offer workshops and training sessions in various communities. Next recommendation is expanding internet access and digital infrastructure, particularly in rural and far-flung areas, to ensure that individuals can effectively use digital assistive technologies, encourage local innovation and development of assistive technologies that are tailored to specific needs and contexts of South African users, ensure that laws and policies protect the rights of people with disabilities to access assistive technologies, and establish accountability mechanisms for enforcement. Another recommendation is about engaging stakeholders and here involve people with disabilities in the policy making process to ensure that their needs and preferences are adequately represented. In other words, not about them without them. Another recommendation is encourage research on the development of affordable, culturally relevant assistive technologies that address the unique needs of South African users. Supporting innovation hubs that focus on creating assistive technologies, providing resources and mentoring for local developers and entrepreneurs. Setting up centralized help desk or online portals that provide information about assistive technologies, funding options, and technical support. Developing mobile units that can travel to rural areas to provide assessments, training, and support for assistive technologies. To develop training programs for technicians to ensure that they are equipped to repair and maintain assistive technologies in both urban and rural areas. Establishing networks of local service providers to offer ongoing support and maintenance for assistive devices. Promote the development of assistive technologies that involve input from people with disabilities during the design process, ensuring the solutions are user-friendly and culturally relevant. Having said that, one of the things SA Connect has been doing, only last year we connected no less than 1 million households. And if you multiply those households and say an average of 6 or 7 per family, you multiply that million by 7 of poor communities, it means they have got an access to a gig for between 5 and 6 rand. And a gig, as you go to these other big telcos, is about 84 rand and more. For poor people, SA Connect has made it possible for them. Now we want to make sure that through this program, that not only those who have got no physical challenges, the people with visual impairment must be able to actually have a benefit and access to that. Those who cannot hear must be able, through their visual capabilities, to be assisted in this technology to actually participate. We are committing ourselves, DM, to participate under your leadership. That I'm advised you will be convening us. And I'm already making a commitment. I'm going to be part of the membership, and I'll always be in your meetings to the best of my ability. Because as the DCDT, digital technology is not just the future, it is the only life. Without digital technology now, you are not going to make a living. It's a family technology, it's a church technology, it's a political technology, it's all types of life is not possible without it. So then the sector of people with disability, ensuring that they have got access to ICT, that is a program long overdue. We're making this commitment, thanking you for the opportunity, wishing you good luck in all the participation and discussions that will be taking place. We had a session with the DM, by the way. I'm not sure if it's my duty to announce, DM, that we have agreed. We've been analyzing challenges that are facing the sector, especially in as far as ICT access is concerned. And there was a chamber which was meant to coordinate all NGOs. That chamber, we are advised, it collapsed, and a number of other fora that are supposed to be sitting, a number of other coordination and obligations by different departments with regard to dealing with issues of people with disabilities. The collapse of that chamber has actually had serious implications for that. We have agreed under Puti, yeah? Puti, where is she? She's not here. So Uputi is going to ensure that she takes the decisions that we had this morning to revive that chamber, revive their coordination, make sure that the programs of people with disabilities are actually taken to high level. We deal with the attitudinal barriers and everything. We call that decision there from that veranda there. We call it MGABABA minute. And the MGABABA minute must be implemented. So whenever you see me, you must ask me, how far is MGABABA minute? Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, DM. Can we give the DM another hand? Thank you very much. I think it was very inspiring. I would like to, I'm not sure if Puti is in the room now, but I think we would have to ask the HOD for social development again if she would indulge us to introduce the Deputy Minister for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities. And then thereafter, we will give an opportunity for interaction. If you can come to the front, ma'am, to introduce the Deputy Minister for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities. And after that, if you have any questions or comments for the DM, please, for our DM, for the DM for communications, please write them down. And then after the DM for Women and Youth and Persons with Disabilities has spoken, we will take an interaction where both the DMs will interact with the delegates. And but it's not a question and answer session, it's more an interaction. And if you have views about what we can do, please share that with us. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Uputi, Ozana Puti. Can I hand over to you? Them. Yeah, thank you. Just a short introduction.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yes, no. My apologies, DMs. I was multitasking. I was in another meeting, so I just felt a bit ambushed. But I'm back. Um, Good afternoon, fellow delegates. My name is Putima Bilibili. I'm from the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, responsible for advocacy and mainstreaming for the rights of persons with disabilities. The purpose of my being here is to actually, first let me talk to the MGABABA minutes and thereafter do the proper protocol and introduce my principal, who will then be ascending to the stage. We had a briefing this morning prior to the assembly of this engagement with the deputy ministers, and they've noted the challenges that the disability sector is experiencing in terms of ICT, but also in terms of the whole institutional arrangements in government broadly, but related to ICT matters. So one of the key issues that came out of there were issues around guidelines, issues around ensuring that we strengthen the institutional mechanisms and enable the DMs to be able to interface and interact and work on the issues of ICT. In other words, bringing about a case with regard to how we would want them to assist us to advance the mandate of empowering persons with disabilities in the ICT environment. The DMs touched on issues around research and development, that we need to strengthen the research and development area in order to support innovations, initiatives of persons with disabilities, especially the ones that will make communication accessible for persons with disabilities. We spoke around issues around audio descriptors, South African Sign Language, closed captioning, and issues of subtitles, that we need to zoom into that area and work closely and ensure that all these barriers that are limiting access are done away with. But also enforcement of the code by ICASA, that's one of the elements that we spoke to. So also there's clear intent by our DMs that given the proper support from us, especially the technocrats, then we'll be able to empower them to be able to deal with attitudinal barriers, especially from other sectors, be it private and so forth. But they emphasized the involvement of organizations of and for persons with disabilities in everything that we are going to be engaging in moving forward. So I think in short, DMs I've tried to capture the MGABABA minutes from there, yes. With that said, let me then take this opportunity to introduce to you my principal deputy minister, who has just joined us in the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities. She's Deputy Minister Mapaseka Stivilitsike, Deputy Minister responsible for women, youth and persons with disabilities in the presidency. So there's no higher office other than that. She's at the helm and at the center of power. So she's the power herself. And she's there specifically to drive the mandate of this department and to ensure that transformation truly happens. The one thing with Deputy Minister is that she's very practical and she's intentional, and she wants programs that are impactful, that she can touch and see. So that is what is her driving force. So allow me, and she has worked in this space for a very long time. She's in the legal area, and she has worked with issues of gender-based violence, matters around intersectionality, of ensuring that all people have access and all people are empowered and their rights are recognized. And this is our Deputy Minister, Mapaseka Stivilitsike. I've rewritten your mind.
Thank you so much, Puti. Good afternoon, everybody. Let me really appreciate the warm introduction, but also to thank the program directors, MEP Petronella, as well as Metandi. We appreciate your facilitation of this session. Deputy Minister, responsible for communication and digital technologies, Honorable Mondli Ngungubele, officials from the Presidency and the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, officials from the Department of Communication, Digital Technologies, head of the Department of Social Development, together with your team from the province. We appreciate the work that you have been doing. Let me also appreciate the national representative of SANEC Disability Sector, Metobega, who really sits in a council to advance the rights of persons with disability. Representatives of ICASA and other development partners, including the private sector, sending you greetings as well. And of course, most importantly, is representative from different formations of persons with disabilities, civil society, FBOs, and the schools focusing on persons with disability. Distinguished guest, siyanibingelela nonke. Sihlangene la MGABABA, which is now dubbed by the Deputy Minister Mondli as the MGABABA Minute. So we are here together, and I'm delighted to be with you today as we discuss the role of information and communication technologies towards bettering the lives of persons with disabilities. As a ministry in the presidency responsible for women, youth, and persons with disability, we deem this symposium to be of great importance, as the preamble of our constitution enshrines as a founding principle the equality of all South Africans, where it iterates its intention to, and I quote from the constitution, improve the quality of life of all citizens and free the potential of each person, close quote. This founding principle is the preamble of our constitution that includes the quality of life of all South Africans, including that of persons with disability. Makunje kumele sigade i-constitution yethu. We must protect it. Abanye nje siyababona ey'tradeni across the country bafuna ukuzibuyisela emuva. So sinomsebenzi nje yokuprotecta i-constitution yethu. Le constitution yethu baningi abantu bayisebenzele bayilwele. So fanele siprotecte amalungelo wethu. And then the fundamental position that we have as government, that we hold even in our department, is really to advocate for the rights of persons with disability. We're advocating to make sure that we provide opportunities to participate meaningfully in all areas of human endeavor. We are encouraged through the commitment that is led by the Deputy Minister, Honorable Ngungubele, in his address, that there is an intentional thrust to empower persons with disability through the ICT fraternity. Deputy Minister, this speaks to us. And we want to really see this quality of life for persons with disability improve. Not just see it in paper, but see it in reality. ICT has significantly contributed to the advancement of persons with disability. It has contributed to the rights, but also it has contributed to the tools that enhances accessibility, inclusion, and independence for individuals with disabilities. ICT is not just a set of tools, it's a bridge to be more inclusive, accessible, and fair in the world, including for persons with disabilities. So by supporting accessible technology, promoting inclusive policies, and advocating for the rights of all, we can continue to break down the barriers and build a society that truly values each individual's unique abilities. Program directors, our gathering coincide with the Disability Rights Awareness Month, DRUM. This takes place from the 3rd of November to the 3rd of December each year. This year's theme, we have themed it around the commemoration and the celebration of our 30 years of democracy that creates a disability inclusive society for a better quality of life and protection of the rights of persons with disabilities. This theme reflects our commitment to creating a barrier-free society where persons with disabilities are full and active participants in our economy and within society at large. Isikhathi sakuthi nivalele abantu bakhubuzekileyo emakhayeni siphelile. People must be out and they must have equal opportunities. Each week of DRUM is linked to national strategic priorities and the white paper on the rights of persons with disabilities. Week 1, of which we are in, we are focusing on growing an economy aligned with the empowerment of persons with disabilities. So, like today, the department has called us into this symposium so that we empower persons with disability with the skills and the information around digital and technology communication, where you will be equipped to fully participate. And we really appreciate this from the department. But more across the country, there are other activities that are focusing on economic opportunities. Week 2, we will be focusing on the advocacy around inclusion of every child with disability. We already have seen here, we've got our children, so now abantwana bethu bakhona la. Every child must have equal opportunity. Mabahambe bangene ikolweni, and ikolo zethu ziba accommodate. We advocate for that reasonable accommodation, that they have the right information, they've got the right tools of empowerment here, and we are focusing on children in that second week. The third week, we will be building on a working government with a progressive disability rights agenda. You would have seen also some of the departments that are here, including the Department of Social Development. We want a working agenda. Don't just design program or strategies and put them there. They become useless for us. Now, this 7th administration is an activist government. We have been seeing it and we are prepared for it. And it's funa ukusebenza nani as umphakathi. Selimzwile ke u-Deputy Minister wethu, Honorable Gungubele. Magathi, I want to lead. We work together. So umphakathi, don't move aside. You must be with your government and work with your government. Of course, in the last week, we will be focusing on how we create a safer community. Last hlala khona, kumele kube safe for umphakathi wethu, kumele kube safe for persons with disability. Deputy Minister, just in the next 2 weeks, we will be launching a report on gender-based violence together with the Human Science Research Council. That report has pointed out, it's a household survey. That report has pointed out now on gender-based violence, the high level challenge and violation experienced by persons with disability. It's pointing it out. It's now what President Ramaphosa has declared as a pandemic. we are also seeing it with persons with disability. Fanele sibanakekele abantu. This violence that is happening, not only just violence, but also rape and sexual offenses, must come to an end. And the idea that we are not safe, asiko safe in our own communities, must come to an end. These are our homes. Masiya sihamba semasontweni, sifanele sibe safe nakhona. Masiya emsebenzini sibe safe nakhona. So la sihlala khona, fanele sibe safe. So we are worried that we must pay a closer look at the safety agenda, particularly for persons with disability as well. So we hope that each one of us in our respective corners where we operate, we do our bit towards raising awareness on the rights of persons with disability during this period. And after the 3rd of December, we mustn't say we are done. It must be an everyday thing, 365 days. Every day we must raise awareness and build solidarity. Program directors, among the yardstick by which to measure society's respect for human rights, to evaluate the level of its maturity, its generosity of spirit, is by assessing the status that is accorded to those members of society who are vulnerable, persons with disabilities, senior citizens, and its children. The concept of a caring society is strengthened and deepened when we recognize that persons with disability must enjoy the same rights as everyone else, and that we have a responsibility towards the promotion of their quality of life. We must stop seeing persons with disabilities as objects of pity, but as capable individuals who have an ability to contribute immensely to the development of our republic. Everything we do, we must do it also with persons with disability. Research has estimates that between 7% to 12% of South Africa's population are moderately to severely disabled. Deputy Minister, this means our population density, if it says between 7% to 12%, it already tells us just about 8.1 or 8.2%, 8.1, 8.2 million are persons with disability from moderate to severe disability. So we cannot play with our population density. This percentage of persons with disability requires the equitable distribution of services and opportunities to enable them to participate meaningfully. The promotion of new technologies and advancement of assistive technologies should be prioritized to improve the quality of life for persons with disability. We must invest in research, and I think Deputy Minister spoke about it. You have spoken about research and evidence-based programming about 3 times in your address. And that already tells us that when we design programs, it must be well informed so that we actually develop programs fit to serve the nation. And that on its own, the data will help us to look at, one, what is affordable, what is accessible technology that aid communication, what mobility, and what access to information we need to design these programs. But what we can do, we can't do alone. Collaboration between government, private enterprises, and academic institutions, including organizations of and for persons with disability, can foster innovations in this field, ensuring that persons with disabilities can benefit from the rapid pace of technology progress. This includes promoting digital accessibility and ensuring that emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, and I was too excited to walk in here and see this banner reflecting that. I love technology, and I think we have this responsibility to make sure that it's accessible to everybody, as our Deputy Minister has articulated. But more than that, we must also look at the automation that are designed with inclusivity in mind. Our emphasis is on the fundamental shift in how we view persons with disability, away from the individual medical perspective to a human rights and developmental perspective. It is with this understanding in mind that we affirm supporting autonomy and independent living by promoting policies that enable access to community-based services, personal assistance, affordable and adaptable housing. Social protection schemes should be reformed to provide financial support that allows individuals with disabilities to live independently, make personal decisions about their care, and avoid institutionalization where possible. This also entails removing barriers to education and employment, enabling persons with disability to contribute to society in ways that promote self-sufficiency and empowerment. We must remember, program directors, that human rights are a universal principle that protects everyone's individual's dignity, freedom, and equality. They are not a privilege or special consideration. They are inherent to every person simply because they are human. The Catholic nun and founder of Missionaries of Charity, Mother Teresa, called this to our attention when she said, "Human rights are not a privilege conferred by government. They are every human being's entitlement by virtue of his or her humanity." Close quote. So whether it is the right to live freely, to access education, to work, or to participate in society, human rights are the foundation for a life of respect and equality. So the rights of persons with disability are human rights, as the right to participate fully in society is a core principle of human rights. So persons with disability must be included in public spaces, government policies, and cultural activities. They are part of society. Therefore, universal accessibility is a non-negotiable principle in both public and private sectors. This includes not only physical access to infrastructure such as buildings, transport system, public spaces, but also access to information, technology, and services. The adoption of universal design principle across all sectors would contribute to a more inclusive society, allowing persons with disability to participate fully and equally. Disability right means the right to be visible, to be heard, and to contribute to society meaningfully. When we ensure accessibility in public spaces, when we provide access to information and communication, we are doing more than accommodating. We are affirming the rights of persons with disability to take part in our nation as equal citizens. Program Director, the white paper on the rights of persons with disability represents the implementation of the equality clause in our Constitution, particularly on what government can contribute to the development of persons with disabilities, the promotion and protection of their rights, and ensuring that nothing hinders them from participating in their daily lives. We believe in partnership with persons with disability. Hence, government stands by the motive that nothing about us without us. Therefore, the furthest of any objective to empower persons with disability can only be met by involvement of persons with disability. We believe that the white paper reflects the aspirations of persons with disability in our country, who are amongst millions of ordinary South Africans whose lives have been changed for the better. In our efforts to enhance talent and work inclusion, We must actively pursue strategies to enhance the talent of persons with disability. Angithi siyazi sinawo ama-talent angithi. We want to see them publicly, right? We want these skills to be out and benefit and change our lives, right? So sawadinga lawo opportunity. We know that persons with disability are also brilliant. Deputy Minister, there was a young woman I worked with a couple of years ago. She's an entrepreneur. And then she contracted TB. And she became blind from the disease. She left her business and she pursued to actually go back to school, and she got an opportunity from ABSA. She's blind, she can't see. Her name is Tebogo. Very active woman. Now, Tebogo has just graduated about 2 weeks ago. Tebogo now, she's a technical specialist assisting to develop websites and technology space. And she's doing it as a blind woman. And I always say, if we open up opportunities for persons with disabilities, we're going to see brilliance being experienced in our community. So when I see Tebogo, I'm always inspired because she's a true go-getter. And she has really shown that when people are taken through training, even after a trajectory, you can outlive and you can do something better. And us as government, we will continue to intensify our work. We will work with private sector that is here and also those who are not here, but to look at employment opportunities, to create inclusive work environment, offering reasonable accommodations, flexible working arrangement, and access to adaptable or adaptive technology. Often I always say, Deputy Minister, don't give lower paying jobs for persons with disability. We also want senior positions, high and managerial positions for persons with disability. And we are committed for that. And Deputy Minister was saying, even all these advertised jobs, we must be intentional as institutions. And right there, persons with disability will have an added advantage. And we come back and we do it and we monitor institutions to make sure that persons with disability are employed in those institutions. So developing inclusive spaces and workspaces are quite important. The other one that is very important is how we develop inclusive vocational training and mentorship programs tailored to specific skills and aspirations for persons with disability, particularly young people. As you know, my one portfolio is focusing on women, the other one is youth, and the other one is persons with disability. But even that, you can look at persons from an intersectional lens. Because you do have women with disability who are young. You do have young men with disabilities. So we want to look at the spectrum also of intersectional. Look at class, look at race, so that we include everyone and we leave no one behind. So we acknowledge that efforts towards improving the quality of life must be done intentionally. We must improve the lives of persons with disability. And we have done so as our government. There are specific measures that we have put in place to take all appropriate measures, including legislation, to modify or abolish existing laws, regulation, customs, and practices that constitute discrimination against persons with disabilities. We are going to take into account the protection and promotion of the human rights of persons with disability in all policies and programs. We're going to take all appropriate measures to eliminate discrimination on the basis of disability by any person organization, or private enterprise for that matter. We're going to undertake and promote research and development of universally designed goods, services, equipment, and facilities as reflected in Article 2 on the United Nations Convention on Rights of Persons with Disability, which should require the minimum possible adaptation at the least cost to meet the specific needs of persons with disability. We also undertake to promote research and development and to promote the availability and use of new technologies, including information and communication technology, mobility aids, devices, and assistive technology suitable for persons with disability, and also looking at cost effectiveness of that. Now, the department will embark on a number of measures as well. One, to finalize our advocacy and mainstreaming strategy, to create awareness of manuals to educate and inform public of different types of disability, finalization of disability rights overarching legislation, continue to monitor the annual performance plans of government entirely, and development of indicators at the midterm development plan. But also, most importantly, to improve access and also to advocate for the designation of set-aside public procurement for persons with disability, which we already know President Ramaphosa have already said. The Deputy Ministers Forum on Disability, Deputy Minister, MGABABA minute will be the first item that we have to give feedback on in that forum. All these programs will continue within 2024-2025 financial year through they are already, of course, some of them though are already underway in terms of implementation. So as I take my seat, I must remind us of the words of Stevie Wonder, the blind American songwriter, the musician and record producer, when he said, "We have a moral obligation to remove the barriers to participation and to invest sufficient funding and expertise to unlock the vast potential of people with disabilities," close quote. This is the call we are making today. We remain committed to advancing the rights of persons with disability, particularly to have equal access to services, economic opportunities, and most importantly, the tools to operate effectively through the use of technology advancement. Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Thank you very much, DM. Time is not on our side. I see others are leaving, but there was a commitment that we'll take hands from the floor, starting from the presentation or the discussion that was presented by our DM of communication, and then we'll then also, so we're going to club those discussions together. So I see one hand on the other side, but let me just explain. We are taking hands, or we are taking hands for engagement with our two deputy ministers. So when I take hands, or when I point you, this question iya ngakuliphi side. So for now, I see one hand on the side. Let's check this side. How many hands? I see one hand on this side. This side, another hand. This side, another. So we have three hands. Kungabi nalezandla lezi zizozwa inkulumo imnandi, ne? Yeah, we have three hands so far. Is there anyone ngapha? Any hand? Two hands ngapha. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's take hands. Let's hear. The first hand on this side. We are not going to take long. Asifuna ukuthi abanye bawe ngoba abanye bathi hayi sesilambile kudala sila. So asenzeni ukuthi siqede. Asizwe baba, ungabuza umbuzo?
Good afternoon. My name is Louwin Zimande from the South African National Council for the Blind. Just to affirm a few things that we are excited about the consideration for the ICT chamber, and why we saying so, because there's lots of outstanding work between all the people that were stakeholders in the ICT chamber itself, not just disability. Just to cite some of the things that may not be in the MGABABA minute. One of them is the universal service obligations. And CASA, I'm glad that they are here. They know that there is unfinished business, which include the completion of the spectrum, so that even those telcos that did not complete their responsibilities in an obligation in as far as their contribution to, in particular for us, the special schools, as it were. Secondly, we are engaging as a sector in the mail conveyors, because there is an exclusion in those regulations that the department is now consulting the public on the exclusion of disability there. And that deals with the matter of, the USO on allowance for delivery of material that is below a kg, and that to allow a give and take into into courier companies, but in particular because of the problems at the post office, because the post office was carrying this as a public entity. So we highlighting that. But what I'm standing on to emphasize to the department is really to say to the minister, to the deputy minister, please talk to the officials. I'm not reporting them, not complaining, but the department has a very reduced opportunity of engagement with the sector at a strategic level. And so I heard Ms. Linda saying that we'll talk again in November. Please don't do that, don't go there. We need to engage quite regularly. We are suffering. We are suffering. The last thing in this communication department, the DSBs. The DSBs, digital sound broadcasting, is a bigger solution for our sector, from emergency point of view and radio access point of view, because now the radio, digital radio, allows text and images to be accessed by the blindness sector. And my organization represents over 100 organizations in the country of people that are suffering. Blind people would be able to report even the extortions. As we all know, the extortions are happening even in our schools for the blind and the deaf children. So we really want to emphasize that, and thank you for the commitment. And I do want to say to the Deputy Minister for Women, Youth and Persons with Disability that I see these comrades of ours that are working in the disability sector, that they really mean business. We are encouraged with that in this month. We must give acknowledgement where it's due, and we want them to keep it up. But the communications department, please come to your game. Please come to your business and engage us as a stakeholders to assist you constructively. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have noted 3 hands. So he was the first person that has touched many issues. If you are covered, please listen to the response. Number 2 here. Number 2 was here. Yeah, no, here.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Ngizocela ukukhuluma isiZulu, ngizocela ukuma because I'm confident with my disability.
Okay.
Siyabonga mholi ukhulume kahle usuka la and I was touched. Okhulumayo usenzo Gumede.
Okay.
Kunendawana encane nje esalayo engazi noma ukhona nokhulume ngayo when it comes to employment for people with disabilities. And we are hearing good results from some people that they met those percentages, while people in rural areas are neglected. When I'm talking about rural areas, I'm talking about us, MGABABA. Chances of employment are very slim. Can I just come forward so that all of you could hear me? Chances of us being in employment are very slim, people with disabilities. And unfortunately, we come to the stage whereby gates are closed for some of us since there is this term of 18 to 35 years. It's not that we are not educated. As we are sitting here, we all got professions. But unfortunately, they are not recognized. Sometimes I feel so stressed to hear these sweet talks. And then when I go home and reflect, my pillowcase is my weakness because I always cry on it. While my pillowcase was not talking. But after all, i-pillowcase izothwala insizwa zama-sweet talks. I was employed from 2018 to 2022. The company which was employing me, I'm not going to reveal the name, they didn't give me a chance when the company was closed down after COVID. They couldn't trust me as a person with disabilities that my life is not at the reception, but I can also work online as much as the office is closed. So it's a great sadness as I'm standing here. Ukuthi I'm reaching an age of 45 and my talent has gone down to the drain. And unfortunately, there is no one could employ me. And another thing, I was at a special school, like any other physically challenged people. And the school didn't trust me that I will reach matric. They just talked to me and they said, there's nothing you can do. Just understand that you cannot go further as you wish. And I was dismissed. And I'm very ashamed as I'm standing here to tell you that I'm non-matriculated, but in my head, I'm very brilliant. So Sengvala, people in parliament, wow, I like your sweet talk once again. But I'm begging you guys, the sweet talk must come into action. Disability grant on its own, we cannot survive. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That person is this side. Oh, we are 4. My apologies. 5. Okay, my apologies.
Thank you very much. Angibonge ukuthola ithuba. Once again, I would like to address myself in my vernacular language, which is Zulu language. Igama uSiphiwe Ngwakangcongo isibongo. Ngusihlalo wabantu abakhubazekile kwiSipho Mkhize zone, which includes the place we are in right now, which is 198. Le ndawo esikuyona iyona again ngusihlalo kuyona. Indawo le engaphansi kwenkosi ubaba uPhiphile uThuli sakhela indawo yenkosi. Indawo yasemakhaya le rural area. Ake ngiqale ngokuzwakalisa ukungaphatheki kwami okuncane nje, angigxeki kodwa ngiyakuveza nje ukuthi kumenyiwe la abantu bomphakathi abakhuluma ulimi lesiZulu, abakhubazekile, abanye bethu or let me rather say iningi lethu elingas understand isilungu ngoba kwaba nama barriers okufunda ngenxa ye disability. Kodwa it is a shame ukuthi ubengekho uZulu language interpreter kulomcimbi. Ukuthi abantu abaningi la endlini abayizwanga inkulumo, ukuhluzeka kwenkulumo ngoba inkulumo eningi ithulwe ngolimi lwesilungu. Kodwa ke asikubekele ikusasa ukuthi kuyolungiseka ngelinye ilanga. Bese ngena epointini lami la noma embuzweni usisiphuthi uthe uphuthi mabilibili if I'm not mistaken. Sorry if I pronounce your surname wrongly. Mabelebele. Thank you for the correction, Deputy Minister. Ukhulume nge-empowering of people with disabilities with ICT and technology. Sisendaweni yasemakhaya, we are so scattered indlela esihlala ngayo. As a result, that is why we came very late here, because ibus had to go endaweni ezimbi emgwaqo mimbi sikuma-rural areas, ithatha 2 to 3 hours ukuqoqa abantu beze la. So uma ukhuluma ngoku-empowerisha abantu abakhubazekile abascattered ngalolu hlobo, if usubafuna uzobathola kuphi endaweni yasemakhaya. Ngezinye indlela besingacela ukuthi Deputy Minister abahloniphekile uma ngase baconsiderishe into ekuthiwa i-center for people with disabilities emakhaya. Wazi ukuthi mawufuna abantu abakhubazekile, this is where you go and find them in one place. Leyo ingacover nale issue ka housing ephuwa ngalendlela kumasipala wethu weTheku. Iphuwa into ka housing when it comes to umuntu okhubazekile. Noma sebeyakhile indlu allocate umuntu okhubazekile kodwa abayicingi disability yakhe, abayicingeli disability yakhe. Uthathe umuntu okhubazekile asifakwa ngisho kuma allocations, mase allocate i-RDP house yomuntu onormal ongenayo disability iyafana ne-RDP house yomuntu ohamba nge-wheelchair. Uzoyi-accessa kanjani indlu yakhe lo ohamba nge-wheelchair ngoba awukho umahluko ukuthi le ndlu yakhelwe umuntu ophila okhubazekile nosophila nokukhubazeka nisori. Bese ngigcina ngale phuzu lokuthi abanye bethu ukukhubazeka bakuthole ngesikhathi sodlame lwezepolitiki, bakuthole ngesikhathi sobandlululo. I'm one of those. Mina namhlanje ngihamba nge-artificial leg ngadutshulwa yilamaphoyisa kwaZulu akuthiwa ama-ZP. Ngaze ngangaqeda nasesikoleni. So mina ngiyivictim ye-apartheid yohulumeni ngobandlululo. Kodwa ungawubona umjondolo kaThayele engihlala kuona namhlanje ihlazo. Kade lini izulu manje bengibekela amaconsi ngoba abantu abathatha lezo balibeka la namhlanje hayi sebekhohlakela baselutho. Abantu engathi banakekelwa kahle manje yilaba sebebusa izwe. Kodwa ukuthi sifike kanjani ekuthanini lize libuswe sebakhohlakele laba abadrive leyo nqola yaze yafika la namhlanje. So ke iyasala le yanto yakwa TRC beneficiaries. uTRC ngaphansi kwe-leadership kababa uDesmond Tutu wasithembisa ukuthi izingane zethu thina ma-beneficiaries noma thina ma-victims odlame ziyothola i-educational assistance, zithole i-housing assistance, zithole usizo ngisho ngokulapheka ngokwamancebe esawathola ngezibhamu zamabhunu. Kodwa konke lokho namhlanje akuzi kahle hle. Noma kuze ngathi senzelwa ufefe umusa nje engathi akusifanele. Uma mhlambe ominister ngase bangikhave nje kulezo indawo ezimbili ngingabonga kakhulu. Thank you very much.
Ngiyabonga. I will use isiZulu and English to accommodate our guests here as well. Okhulumayo uThobeka kaMthethwa, leader for the disability sector at a national level. Owami, I think because ngizozama ukuqala umbuzo wami wokuqala or my input yokuqala is with the Deputy Minister of Communication. I think we've heard our colleagues wami from the sector ekhuluma manje and expressing what they have talents but they are not employed. Ikakhulu kuma soft skills. Umuntu ongaboni nabantu abanamanye ama disabilities asikho isikole la ifundela khona ukusebenzisa ifoni yakhe. But they are able to send emails and do everything on phone. And these companies afana no Samsung, wonke the trade in the country. Ngisho uyesitolo sawo uthi okay ngumuntu ongaboni, cela ungifundisa how to use my phone. They don't do that. Abakwazi ukwenza lokho. Kodwa sisodwa singaboni, sisodwa sikhubazekile siyafundisana ama phone. So is that not a skill that your department can look at funding? Bathole imisebenzi abantu. That's one thing because we are educating ourselves in technology that they just produce but don't take time ukuthi basifundise yona. But we are consumers. So that's one thing that I'm looking at. Your department can intervene in that. And also just to MGABABA minutes as I was in the morning with my briefings, I think credit must be given where it's due. Ngiyabonga ukuthi ukwazi as ministers nobabili deputy ministers ukuthi nikwazi ukuthi you listen to our contributions for the advancement of disability and make decisions then and there. And we hope ukuthi as we leave la MGABABA minutes, I will follow you. As on WhatsApp, I'll make sure. Because I represent persons with disabilities and NAMI as a leader nationally, I have to account. What I've never been here. But I lead about disability. So funding account account. I think that's one thing. And then to the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, I do want to thank Nyanbonga. Gakulu, why? Because as umuntu disability, we push what is figure in the kanje. Ukuthi kube khona ama events so attendayo kodwa akhuluma ngathi but sengibona ushintsho. Where noma ngifikile in an event like this, in a gathering like this, I seldom have to say anything because the people who are working in the department, the minister at the helm, know my needs as a person with a disability. So it's just for my departments. Push more. Push more. Because umsebenzi uyabonakala. And let it reach these rural communities. We are here, but I can't even access internet. So, I just want to, those are my two contributions. I think my colleagues have covered me.
Number 5.
Sorry, thank you very much. My name's Krish Shanmugam. I think I use two hats. I'm coming from the disability sector, but also supporting the disability sector within the public servant. I want to say that we're hearing the people, and I want to say that we're understanding the challenges that people are experiencing. But over the years, we've come a measurable distance, but I agree hearing the comments that we are not there as yet. But I want to say that the government, as we indicated, DRAM, Disability Rights Awareness Month, and it's pleasing to know the themes that we have for DRAM, but also the weekly themes, children accessing, and also the safety of persons with disabilities. But for the information of the House here, we culminate with International Day and Disability Parliament on the 3rd of December. And over the years, we've, in KZN, has had a number of resolutions passed towards seeing how we can accommodate and cater for persons with disabilities. One of the resolutions, Chair, is that we must reach out to the rural areas where there are high numbers of persons with disabilities are not identified. And the departments have commenced with what is called CBR projects, community-based rehabilitation projects, and have supported disability organizations in rural areas to identify and to ensure that these persons with disabilities access service. So it's a work in progress. We're also hearing that there are many that haven't been identified and not receiving services, but we are appealing to the organizations and persons themselves, because the organizations are for persons and representing persons with disabilities. And these organizations have reported thousands of people so far who have accessed rehabilitation services, assistive devices, but I'm agreeing that we have not reached there. But our commitment today with the department's digital technology, communication, and the Department of Women, Youth, and Persons with Disabilities, Social Development, we have much to do to see that persons with disabilities live and reach better lives. Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay, thank you so much for all the questions and comments that has been asked and made. I'd like to start by just responding to some of the comments and questions for the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies, and then our Deputy Minister will respond afterwards. The first one is related to the comment that was made by the National Council for the Blind with regards to the comment that I made in my introductory remarks when I spoke about the purpose. He indicated that what he heard was me saying that we will only engage with the disability sector in November 2025 again. I just wanted to indicate that I was saying that we need, one of the reasons why we meet in November is because we are commemorating Drum, but we need to have an action plan between this November and that November 2025. And then when we come together in November 2025, we need to report back on the year that that has passed. So the intention was not that we should see each other again in a year. If that was what my input created, please accept my apology. I would like to, however, agree with him with regards to the second point that he made, which was around the stakeholder engagement of communications. I think he said that the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies are limited in terms of their stakeholder engagement. I'd like to just contextualize that. I would like to say that as the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies, we were one of the first departments that created that had ability and ICT strategy. We were one of the first departments that had a institutional mechanism for engaging with persons with disabilities, which was the ICT Disability Chamber. However, unfortunately, there has been some challenges within the department around maintaining and sustaining the engagement with the sector. So that point, I think we would just acknowledge it, and we would say that that's the reason why we would want to resuscitate the Disability and ICT Forum in the chamber, in the form of the Disability and ICT forum, so that we are able to have that institutional mechanism and have quarterly engagements with the sector that will be aligned with the disability machinery, because all government departments, including ourselves, has to have a engagement institutional mechanism for persons with disabilities. So that's the response to the second comment that was made by the first person, the first speaker from the National Council for the Blind. Then with regards to the employment of persons with disabilities, there was a comment that was made that said, yes, we have a lot of targets and that we are able to stand up here and we say we've reached a certain percentage, but it means nothing for persons with disabilities in real terms, because the gentleman made an example of COVID and how it made him not have a job anymore. I think one of the things that we would want to say as the Department of Communications is that we need to look at how do we enable persons with disabilities to utilize technology online to be able to work anywhere at any given time. And that's one of the things that we will be presenting in the symposium. It's around how to use artificial intelligence, AI, in terms of as a technology that enables you to do research, to do development, and that is, you can do that anywhere, as long as you have connectivity, as long as you have a computer. But I would like to say that as a department, we still have a long way to go as far as employment equity for persons with disabilities are concerned, because we are at 2.4% as it is, and we're supposed to be reaching 7%. The last comment that I will make before I hand over to the Deputy Minister is to say that in terms of the sound broadcasting comment that was made, we will also have a presentation on sound broadcasting, because we know that that is one of the key things that needs to be addressed when it comes to persons with vision impairment in terms of access to economic opportunities. And we will have a presentation on sound broadcasting as part of the symposium, and we would appreciate your inputs in terms of helping us to craft an action plan around that as the department in terms of going forward in this coming financial year. I think with that, I will hand over to our Deputy Minister to respond to other questions.
That's fine. Okay. Thanks, Pat. I think uPat kwenzela wasingashaywa kakhulu uncongo. Uncongo waseshaya wasishaya sangqoqa. Okuningi okwabantu abafunde kakhulu uPetronella uye wabhekana nakho. Okwabantu abatrainiwe la kulento. Kodwa kusemqoka engiqonda ukuthi ufuna sibhekane nako okuncane nje amaphuzu amabili noma amathathu. Ukhulunywa angithi lokho bekhuluma ubaba umphephetho ukuthi exclusion kuyahlangana futhi nokukhulunywa ngokuthobeka. Mina into engifuna ukuyisho ukuthi kulento yokuqashwa kwabantu abakhubazekile ngizothi ngesizulu ngazo bezaba yinselela. Inselela ya. Inselela yokuthi abantu abanenselela yokuqala yokuthi babonakalise ukuthi abantu abakhubazekile bayiveli ku society uhulumeni. Uhulumeni ngokuqala ukuthi ayibonakalise lotho. Ukuthi uma strainer abantu abakhubazekile ukuthi benze imisebenzi yeqondo eliphezulu, thina hulumeni asibaqashe sibonakalise kumphakathi ukuthi lezi zinto abantu bayakwazi ukuzenza. And akekho ngizokwenzela umzekelo e-private sector intshontshe kakhulu abantu abaqashwe uhulumeni, ngoba e-private sector isikhathi esiningi ayikwazi ukuzifundisela abantu. So uhulumeni uqeqesha abantu, i-private sector seyiyabantshontsha ngoba uhulumeni uyobaqeqesha wabasebenzisa. Into esibhekene nayo ku-DM ukuthi makuqeqeshwa abantu abakhubazekile ku-ICT, uhulumeni makabaqashe hayi kuma backdoor jobs, kuma positions amakhulu, babonakale berun ama-department, bedeliver, so that sithumele umlayezo oqotho ukuthi labantu ngabantu laba bayafana nabanye abantu. Ngoba uma ngabe abantu beqeshwa ngasemva kuthiwa yi-2% yala ngasemva e-ofisini okanye ukuhambisa amaleta, kusho ukuthi sithi bayenzelelelwa. So uphendula uthobeka nomphephetho wayiloko. Okwesibili, ngiyayizwa leliphuzu elithi kuyadingeka Pet sibheke lento yokuthi is it not possible, if I heard you, Tobek, to make sure that there's a program of training people with disabilities to train others? And if kuna possibility a stipend or whatever you call it, whatever you call, could train others. Ukuthi ngoba noba ngabani batrainanga bayakwazi uzenzela. Imagine uba ngaba bekune training eformal yokuthi bakwazi ukuthi bancedisane ukuthi basebenze lamanansika lama device la. I'm sure Pet bazos advise ukuthi how best to look at that. Le yama rural asivume nje ukuthi into yama rural kubabusenzo akusinto nje yabantu abakhubazekile la ekhaya. Into yama rural ifuna ukulungiswa nje kuye wonke umuntu. Yabona kumazwe la ama rural athuthukile, abantu abaningi abanandaba nokuya edorobheni ngoba izinto zabo abazifunayo bayazithola. Bathola amanzi, bathola ugesi, bathole indlela zenziwe ngendlela eqondile, bazenzela ubhizinisi, bagcine bangaboni ukuthi kudingekile ukuthi baye enansikeni elento. Ngizakwenzela omnye umzekelo. Yabona uma ungaya edorobheni kubo Joburg kuzo zonke lezi ndawo, ufika ukugcwala abantu abasemikhukhwini abahleli ngakwindawo zamafemi. Sesibonakalisile ukuthi abantu mabe connectiwe ezilalini, into eziningi ezenza ukuthi babe la ngasemafemini bayakwazi ukuthi mabe connected DM bazenze behlele emakhaya bangazi bangayohlala ngasefemini befuna impendulo. Uma ngabe bebe connected kuya ICT bezinokuphenduleka behleli elento emakhaya. Yiyo lento leyo into ye connectivity sizama ukuthi izinga layo sibe ngathi siyalinyusa. Okuningi kuzawuphendulwa kubabu uDM. Okuncane nje mina ebengifuna ukukusho futhi ke siyakuvuma ukuthi uzosiqoqa uDeputy Minister ukuthi ama department wonke asondele Thobeka kulento yeminute. Okugcina bengifuna ukuthi kulento ibikhulunywa nguba uNcongo yokuthi kube nekhaya kuma rural labantu abakhubazekile. Angifuna ukusho mina ake sixoxe babuNcongo lento ukuthi la ngiye khona emazweni abantu abakhubazekile banikezwe izakhono. Into ebangela ukuthi sigcine sithi mababe nekhaya ilento kasikabanikeza izakhono ezokwenza ukuthi bangakudingi lokho. Angazi ukuthi ngezwakalani. So ayikho into there will be no substitute for ukuthi baqeqeshwe banikezwe amandla banikwe infrastructure bakwazi ukuzenzela. Ubungaye kulezi ndawo labantu bayazihambela nje enyoko bakhubazekile bayazigibelela ama lift benza yonke into. Yabona inyoko ukuthi ibhizi kanjani, bangena pha because banikezwe zonke izakhono. Bengithi mina asikukhabi lokho okukhulumayo kodwa bengithi asibheke ukuthi ngeke sichithe imali eningi nawo ukuthi sibanikeze izakhono zokuthi sibheke ukuthi bayalidingana ikhaya lokubahlanganisa. Ngoba esikhathi esiningi abantu abafuna lento ukuthi abantu bahlanganiswe endaweni ethile ngoba bona bakhubazekile ibenza ngathi bayi community yabantu abakhubazekileyo. Uyabona? Kanti uma ngaba banikezwe isakhono bayakwazi ukuphila nje naye wonke umuntu. Manje bengicela ukuthi ukubheke lokho. Bengithi mina sinikezele kubaba uDima. Okay, nanso program director uthi uDM ngizamile kulomzamanyana wami. Uthe ngizamile. Umdlaloso okanye ngibona uprogram director. Senifuna mina nguprogram director manje. Angayithatha lento.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Minister. I hope that the people that directed questions to the DCDT has been answered. Obviously, maybe not to the point that you would have wanted to, but in terms of the Train the Trainer program, I think we will take that as one of the recommendations from the symposium, and we will obviously engage around how that can be engaged with, because what we are doing currently is doing digital literacy training for people with disabilities, but we have not gone into a space where we train persons with disabilities to train other people. So I think that's something we will take into. I'm not sure, Puti, if you want to respond to anything, or if we hand over to your Deputy Minister directly, if you can advise. Okay. Oh, okay. The DM is fine with responding. Okay. There's just one question Thandi has brought to my attention that we didn't deal with. The person is asking about the group, the age group of persons with disabilities that is older than 35. In terms of the current situation is that we prioritize youth with disabilities, which is 14 to 35. But in the situation with persons with disabilities, they would not have gotten skilled or trained, and then when they reach 35 and older, they are not able to access those opportunities. I think in terms of the government policy, people with disabilities must be employed irregardless of their age, but there is a specific dedicated approach towards ensuring that young people are employed. So you cannot be discriminated against on the basis of your age. So if you qualify for the position, if you have the inherent requirements, you should be able to participate in the program. But for internships, learnerships that are targeted at people between 18 and 35, I think we need to look at a program, maybe in the ICT sector specifically, around how do we ensure that in those learnerships and internships, if it's a person with a disability and they are older than 35, but they are able to participate in the program, that we look at a dedicated program to enable those young people or older persons with disabilities to also have access to internships and learnerships for the ICT sector, because we cannot respond to for other sectors. But I think that's another recommendation that we need to look at. How do we take it forward out of the symposium? So that's the response to that question. We will investigate and we will do some research around what is possible. Thank you. The Deputy Minister for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities will respond now.
Uyafuna Petronella ukuthi ngikhulume. I thought ezinye izinto zichilwe. Ama comments. Ithi ngiqale nje sixolise ukuthi asisebenzisanga lolimi lethu. IsiZulu. Marisizamile. And sizoyilungisa le ndaba. Ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi masifike endaweni sikhulume amalimi wethu. But namhlanje into ebalekile ukuthi sithathe le education le training le sikwazi nje ukuthi si explore ama opportunity with ICT. So bazazama nabo mabakhuluma nani. Njengoba ngizama umutswana nami ukuthi hawo ngikhulume la nala amagama ngakhumbulayo ukuthi hey noma ngasuka ngithi ay re ke bue Setswana ke leke go bua lelome laka go ka ba boimanyana go ka se be botlhoko gore wa utlwa ke be ke lahlile etseng eyeke le but ubaba u raise into ebalekile yazini la sihamba khona ngiyayitsho le ndaba ukuthi abantu mabakhula bafuna ukuthi bananakele imndeni yabo, and asikwazi ukuthi noma mangikhubezekile ngakwazi ukuthi nginanakele umndeni wami because anginawo umsebenzi. Yabona iarrangement le sibuka masikhuluma nge-youth employment, angithi i-youth sayikhepha, but asi-apply all round masikhuluma ngabantu bakhubezekile. So ama-opportunity ona akhona, fanele siyenzeni, siwalethe nje la sikwazi ukuthi abantu bakhubezekile babane nawo. Ibuhlungu lento uyitshilo nawe, sikhala nawe. Your pillow, I'm wondering how much has it. You are changing it every day, the pillowcase. Hayi, ku-right mawenza njalo, but into ngifuna kuyitsho ke Mhlekazi is that siyazi ukuthi i-impact ye-COVID i-affecte abantu baninzi. We have lost over 2 million jobs because of COVID-19. But ama-company, ama-institution amaninzi awacabanga lento uyitshilo ukuthi yazi masivala i-reception ukuthi singa-create more unemployment. Yini lama opportunities singawa-create ukuthi sikhiphe abantu bethu bakwazi ukuqhubeka ngomsebenzi. So those are the things that people must think about in that. But I'm hoping, because siyazi ukuthi kunama forum la ekhaya, uThobeka naye nangu uyafika la for the first time, fanele abuye nama opportunity afanele aze la MGABABA. Thobeka, some of the opportunities manhamba nje across the country, bring them to the rural communities. Nisebenze nama forum wala makhaya, nisebenze nabantu la ekhaya. Enye into I think fanele sicabange kahle. Ngiyazi ukuthi wenza suggestion, Chairperson. I-suggestion yama center. Sometimes lawo ma center are right, but sometimes ama center waku-exclude abantu. Angithi sesikhuluma ukuthi si-integrate abantu njani in the society. Ukuthi noma ngaya la esikolweni or ngiye la ema-shopping or ngiye la where we empower young people, where we empower people, those centers must actually be able to accommodate persons with disability. So that as much as we want exclusivity, but exclusivity is really a big problem at times because it further perpetuates exclusion of persons. So let's broaden up so that we don't put people in one corner. We want people everywhere. We want persons with disability everywhere. If we can do that, but we need to start somewhere. And I agree with you. Those centers are important, even if it's one or two or whatever, but they are important. But let's not create it in a way that exclude others. Ngibonge kakhulu. Petronella, I didn't want to comment, but I will comment. I have done so. Ngizamile.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. Sorry for misunderstanding you. I thought you said you want to comment. Okay, so thank you so much for all the interactions and thank you for all the questions. I think we are running over time, but I think it was very fruitful and productive. We also have people online. I'm not sure if there's anyone online that wants to say anything or ask anything just before we break for lunch. Is there? Can someone check for me? Okay. So there's no hand online.
Petronella, sorry.
Okay. You can go ahead, Karen.
Sorry, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. All right. No, I just wanted to say thank you for having this session. I found it very interesting so far, engaging with the community, the industry, government departments, and so on. So, yes, I'm sorry that I can't be there in person, but I am following online. And at the end of the day, it's really about providing accessible communication to people with disabilities. So It's also interesting to hear the comments of the community. Um, yes, so what I also think is great that you said that you want to do from the DCDT side is that you want to resuscitate the ICT chamber, which we had years ago, in terms of engaging with the different stakeholders. So for me personally, that's quite a positive point. And then I just want to wish you all the best further for today, as well as for tomorrow.
That's Karen Smith from Vodacom. Yes, she's the representative at Vodacom for persons with disabilities and engaging with issues relating. She will be speaking tomorrow. So with that, I would like to ask us to give the deputy ministers a hand, and to also give yourselves a hand for everyone that asked the question, to acknowledge yourselves for the questions that you asked. We will break for lunch now. Khobi will indicate where we will be going for lunch, and then the deputy ministers and will go back to the room where we were this morning if you would like to grab something to eat before you leave. Thank you so much. We will break for lunch. We will be back at 3:45. I think, yeah, if that's, yeah, at 3:45. Thank you.
Afternoon again. Yeah, it's that time. I think we are all hungry now, and we can do with some break. My honorable ministers, you are welcome to join at the separate rooms that you were in the morning. Thank you so much. And my special guests, the delegates, we are going to go out and we facing that room that is far on my right hand side, where we will be having lunch at, not this side, but it's going to be that other side. Can we please move out and at least try to grab something for lunch? Thank you so much. Or I'll just lead you, ne? I'll just lead you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, if we can please try to come back. If anyone that's outside can hear my voice, if you can move back so that we can start. Okay, this morning we didn't have time to do introductions, so I'm going to just give people an opportunity to just introduce themselves, but very quickly, whilst we're waiting for some of the other people to come in. You can just introduce yourself and you can share anything that you want to share about yourself in terms of your organization, what you're doing in terms of disability with us, whilst we are waiting for the person that must do the presentation to come in. So I don't know who wants to start, or can we just move with the mic and then you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself. Is there another mic? Oh my goodness. So who has made that announcement? Yeah. Because the transport is not even here yet. We Oh, I don't know what to do now. So I don't know who made that announcement because that is not factual. So I'm not sure what to do now. Okay, can we just do this and then we will release you guys because I don't know who made that announcement. So we will just give you an opportunity to at least introduce yourself, to say who you are, where you are from, and basically maybe just share with us what would you want to get out of the symposium so that we also have an idea of what you would like to see. Thanks. And then after that I will close and then you can be released. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Senzo Selpikumete. The nature of my disability is hydrocephalics. I stay here at MGABABA. Ngineminyaka engu-44 ubudala. Yeah, that's all I can say.
And what do you expect? What's your expectation? Just one thing.
Hey, my expectation is to find a job opportunity.
Okay, awesome. Maybe it happens, who knows? Thank you, Senzo. Okay. What's happening now?
Okay, sanibona.
Okay.
Igama lami nguGabisile Isibongo Nganxumalo. I'm a deputy chair from Sipho zone kwi-group yaka-disability. Engi-expectile is to see more opportunity job, sithole nama-learnership, sithole nje ama-skills, nisize abantu abakhubazekile. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You want opportunities and in terms of skills development for persons with disabilities and learnerships. Okay.
Jobs as well.
All right. Thank you and welcome.
Sanibonani, igama lami nguZamacele. Kuqala nje ngokubonga, siyabonga ukuthola leli thuba lokuthi sibelana. Sozakalisa nje nezikhalazo zethu. Engicabanga ukuthi konke kuzohamba kahle, siyafisa ukubona i-improvement kukona konke, especially kubantu kubantu abane-disability. Ngiyabonga.
Okay, I'm not sure what's happening now because
Can I
You
I
can
go-
continue.
Okay, thank you. Once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Spiwe Moffat Ngongo. I am the chairperson of the organization so-called Sandla Somusa Disability Organization, which was formed in December 2023. The main aim of our organization is to create some programs, including leadership that the people with disabilities can go through in order to pave the way to create job opportunities. But I'm mostly looking at the funding. If we may get some sort of funding for our NPO so that it will get into operation, I'll be very glad for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So in terms of funding for the NGO and then your area of work is learnerships for persons with disabilities. Thank you. Okay, can we move so that, is there anyone else that wants to introduce themselves? If you don't, okay.
I'm Philoshni Pillay from Chatsworth. I'm actually a social worker for the Association for Persons with Disabilities. We're based in Chatsworth and we cater. Okay. We cater for persons with disabilities, age groups 18 years to 59. And we're looking forward for more skills development and learnerships. But the age, because we're always having issues about the age between 18 years to 35, whereby our age group extends to 49. So that's what we would like. Thank you.
Okay, so your specific issue is with the age group 35 to 49 in terms of how do we enable opportunities for that age group. Okay, thank you very much and welcome.
Sanibonani. Igama ngumzophila Sibongo amakhanya ngihlala eMombulu. Benginesifiso nje sokuthi ngibike nje lolu daba ukuthi benginesifiso sokuthi sithola ama-leadership njengoba abantu abangahlali ngokudisability. Ngiyabonga.
Okay, Lizzie or Tandi, if you heard, are you able to translate? I don't understand, I'm sorry. I only speak Afrikaans and English. I'm sorry, I know it's bad, but at least it's two. It's daarom not one. Okay, so the opportunities, learnership programs.
Sanibonani. Igama lami ngiwulinda Mashita. Ngisuka eMbumbulu kwi-organization uSingenzana Disabled Organization. Ngikusipho zone. Isifiso sami esikhulu esokuthi thina abantu abakhubazekile if kwenzeka izinto bangasi-sideline ngoba uma sibuka siya-sidelinewa. Ngisho kwenziwa kwakhiwa izindlu kuya-sidelinewa kumanje kwenziwa ama-toilet eMbumbulu kodwa thina asidange size sithintwe kwakona. So isona sifiso sami esikhulu lesi ukuthi mangabe kukhona izinto eziqhamukayo masinga-sidelinewa futhi makungabhekwa i-age. Mina ngikhubazeke ngino-2 years ngazalwa ngagaqa ngasukuma ngahamba ngahlala phansi ngino-2 years nanamhlanje ke ngikhubazekile ngina-69 years namhlanje kodwa lokho akungibuyisele emuva. Isifiso sami nje sokuthi nje uma khona izinto eziqhamukayo asizithole nathi, uma kuxhaswa nathi asixhaswe ngendlela efanele njengabanye abantu, nothi ukuthi lokhu kwabhekwa iminyaka ngaso sonke isikhathi. Ngiyabonga.
Sanibonani. Ngixolisa ukufika late. Lokhulumayo uThembeka wakambonambi ophila ngaphansi ko albinism. But ke ngasekuqashweni ngiye ngaqashwa iNGO kwasebenzeka. Kodwa mangizama uapply kumaland ku government kuye kuthiwa kufanele usubmit incwadi eshoyo ukuthi uphila nokukhubazeka. So bavele bangaboni lutho ke kumina ngokuthi ngiyayithanda. bathi hayi wena awunalutho uyabona uyahamba ngingabe ngisazi ukuthi kanti-ke i-disability ayibonakali yini ukuthi njengoba ngiku-chronic for 6 months ngilande i-treatment then after 6 months bese ngibona udokotela kodwa thina kuthiwa wabekwa lo mthetho ukuthi-ke uma uphila nebala elimhlophe usufola ngaphansi kwabantu abaphila nokukhubazeka ngiphinde ngicela ukukhulumela umfana wami la ulungelo ugudi kuyile ntuzana ngakwizinto like laptop ama-computer ye-technology but i-problem yakhe ufunde kwi-special school so wagcina ku-grade 3 mayigcina ku-grade 3 wangakwazi ukuthi abe saqhubeka nama-grade but ngihlezi ngimzamela ngayo yonke indlela kodwa ngendlela akugodi kwi-technology angazi ukuthi ngingamzamela kuphi ngathi angasizakala-ke ngiyakubona kwami okwengane engathi iyona engasizakala ngiyabonga.
Thank you. Tandi, are you able to summarize?
Okay.
The next person can get themselves ready. Just for people that came in a bit late, we are doing introduction and expectation. And after that, we will do the closing for today because the transport for the delegates are here already. So we will close and then tomorrow we will continue with the presentations. But now we are giving you an opportunity to introduce yourself, to share which organization you are from, and then your expectation for the symposium.
Okay, angizwanga amagama abakhulumile ukuthi ungubani, but nje I will summarize what they were saying. In summary, when I listened to Umama, she was talking about discrimination of persons with disabilities in terms of all the opportunities. She spoke about the issues of housing allocation, that they are not accommodated or they are not prioritized by those that are doing that. Unfortunately, Umama, who is the head of the social development, ubengaphandle. But I think if she's in tomorrow, and these issues are raised here, she will also note those things. Umama mentioned the place. I forgot to uthe kuphi. Embumbulu. Yeah. Ma'am Vilakazi, while you were on the phone, the house was reflecting on the discrimination that they are receiving. They are also mentioning ukuthi they are also even discriminated in terms of allocation of houses. They are not prioritized as persons with disabilities. And Usisi spoke about being
having albinism.
Albinism, that in some cases she's not seen as a person with disabilities, is what we are saying. And she also said that her son is good in computer or technology. She also wants him to get something. And I think that can also be responded by my Chief Director, Petronella. You can also remind me if there is something. When I came in, there were only those two who spoke. I'm not sure if maybe there is some addition, but Nangoputi want to add.
Specify the nature of the child, that he didn't finish school, so he ended up in grade 3, but he's got a talented in a technician.
Technology. Okay, thank you, Senzo. Okay, there's one more person.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Promise Manata. I'm from the organization called Tape Ace for the Blind. Tape Ace for the Blind is a national audio library
which like converts books from in-print to audiobooks. We are National Library. We're located in Durban. It's a library that assists anyone who we have a problem with reading, especially those who are visually impaired and those who are blind. So anyone who knows of anyone or any school that is like struggling or they need books to be converted to audio, they can contact us. I have some pamphlets here and all other things that got our information. And I'm also a parent of a blind child. I have a son that's 13-year-old and he's visually impaired. It's very difficult for visually impaired people to get assisted with assistive device. Assistive device, they're very expensive. Like parents do not afford them. If we can charge if they can be like affordable prices, because we are struggling. As I'm speaking now, my son doesn't own any assistive device. The one that they're giving him at school, it does help while he's in a school. When he's at home, he cannot do any homework or study during weekends. So if the price of the assistive device can be affordable, it will be a great pleasure for us as parents. And another thing, if you can assist more in funding in NPOs that's dealing with people with disabilities, because they're doing a lot of work that the departments under the departments, which departments doesn't see sometimes, because they not see to the NPOs, because mostly they will find other department, but NPOs they don't give anything. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for the input. Those will be noted as part of the way forward in terms of what we will take forward as part of the report, especially the one on the cost of assistive devices and the one around funding of NPOs. I think obviously as DCDT, we work within government, and some of the issues that's being raised, we might not be able to resolve it as DCDT ourselves or on our own, but we are able to raise it when we are in interdepartmental meetings with other government departments, and also when we are having the institutional mechanisms around ICT related issues. We can also look at some of the things that you raised. But also for the participants that are residing in Durban, there's an opportunity if you want to read books, tape aids for the blind, they put it into audio, then you are able to listen instead of reading by using print. Thank you very much. Can I check, is there anyone else that wants to introduce or share their expectation? Okay, if there's no one else, yeah, it's fine. If there's nobody else, I'd like to just ask Sharon from Siafunda to just introduce herself and just give a brief input on what they do, but they will do a full presentation tomorrow. And I also want to ask someone from Edit Micro that has been exhibiting at the back, just to also, oh, okay, Ms. Vilakasi from Department of Social Development wants to respond to some of the issues that was raised. Before we take Siafunda and Edit Micro to give their inputs, and then we will do the closing.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Bengicela ukuresponda endabeni yendlu. Angithi kuba khona bathe problem is with housing, where kunama challenges ukuthi mhlambe where possible, Program Director ngizocela mhlambe ukuthatha ama details nokuthi bakuphi, ngoba angithi siyazi mawufuna indlu kuba no line ikuthiwa iqueue. Kodwa uma ngabe indlu ifunelwa umuntu oxakekile, umuntu with disabilities, mhlawumbe umuntu omdala kanjalo, umuntu onama special needs, at times i-queue uyawungayilandeli khona izindlu ey'bizwa in the province of KwaZulu Natal khona into ekuthiwa operation sukumasakhe angithi operation sukumasakhe program director is we started it long time ago. DDM in fact is following that in such a way that masibhala DDM we start by saying OSS stroke DDM because that's where when we started to work together as different departments and spheres of government. So kuba OSS house loyo ngoba awubusalandela ulayini ukuthi noma ngabe ubufika ulayini unumber 100 wena but just because you have a special need leo OSS house yenze uyakwazi ukuthi kube ne special program uzokwakhelwa lo muzi and then they consider your needs because you are a person with disability vele indlu yakhona iyahluka for example if you are on wheelchair inemnyango wider and so on and so on so that it is able to accommodate you. We've seen so many houses zakhelwa abantu because of that. Qua human settlement there is a person who leads that who is Mr. Zungu, who is the HOD for human settlement. Asebenzisane no masipala where you come from. It becomes even much easier. Angifuna ukubakhulumela kakhulu oba ngisebenzi khona, but ngikhuluma what I've seen them doing be assist abantu. Kuba even much better mawunendawo yakho. Ngoba at times uthola ukuthi bayamfuna umuntu ukumakhela kodwa akanandawo. Mhlawumbe usemqashweni kanjalo it becomes a problem ukuthi bathola indawo. Kodwa makuthiwa nje ukhona la usesabelweni la kukini la urindawo yakini la uyakwazi ukwakha lapho it becomes even much easier kanjalo bese kuba yiprogram engena through operation sukumasakhe ukuthi it becomes an OSS project ukuthi napha kunendlu eyakhelwa bani ihambe ngempela uyohandovela indlu unikezwe. Ngikubonile lokho kwenzeka nje last week besinikeza umunye ugogo ngapha emkhanya kude ejozini naye obevele ehlala endlini engekho yabo. So I wanted to make that comment ukuthi it's possible mangabe kukhona abanjalo ngiyacela ukuthola ama details so that nami njengomuntu osebenza social development sengiyaqala ngiyan-advocate nami ngiyan-advocatela lokho ukuthi umuntu athole ukusizakala then I take the details sengiya-communicate accordingly ku the relevant department ngisho ngithi it's the resolution of lemhlangano ukuthi laba ababike ama needs wabo that they be addressed ngokusheshsha. Bengifuna ukwenza nje leyo comment. I'm not sure if there is anything else edinga social development. Ngicabanga ukuthi lokho okunye oku technical ukuthi umuntu mhlambe akaqedanga kodwa isikolo kodwa khona lokho anakho ngeke sonke kodwa sifunde kodwa makukhona leli talent elinalo njoba sibona kukhona laba bazostraina bazosilekelela noku-enhance lokho so that you are able ukuthi kube khona indlela ophila ngayo. Ngiyababona kodwa bakhona la chairperson abangapha koThekwini kube bakhona abangapha ngakithi nje eNewcastle ngabe ngiyababuza ukuthi bayasazi isikolo okuthiwa iVumani Sabelo esisosizweni. Hayi manje ngiyabothi laba bangapha abasazi sengisho lokho ukuthi bengabaxoxela ukuthi i-disability asiyi-theorize leso sikolo. I started that school when I was working as a social worker. Ngisebenza naba-parents of children with disabilities. Sabona inidi sasiqala isikolo sihle manje ugovernment usasakha manje each time ngidlula ngiyangijabule nje ukuthi nami I had a contribution. So kufanele izinto niyikhulume ningathuli ngoba kakhulukazi izinto yishisa nina kakhulu usho ukuthi ayingeke la akuhlangani la so that we are able to assist you ukuthi senze njani ngoba nokuqasheka kwabantu lana ugcwalise kahle into zakho ifika usho ukuthi cha une disability uyawuthola nje umsebenzi umeet ama requirements sikubuthola umsebenzi. Siyabonga kakhulu. Thank you.
Thank you very much. When I see Hobby coming close to me, I worry because maybe she want to tell me good transport is waiting for people. But Okay. Tobeka, you can
Yes.
come in.
Sanibonani futhi, angazi face to side. Oh, angiboni ukuthi nimi ngaphi Nkosi yami, ngixole nje kunjalo nje angiboni. Ninjani? Okay, nginizwile nkathi sikhuluma earlier ukuthi kuno chairperson we region or wala we disability. Okay, we zone. Izone yeni include iMahlongo. Ayifike eMahlongo, ichamba kuphi? Oh, ngamahlongo fall under umdoni. Magabheni under itheka ngithi. So niyabase emagabheni futhi. Okay, ngoba athi ngisukume ngixolisa. Ngoba oh kodwa phela kithi kuseCrackben. Umuzi kababa manje ula eCrackben so no under itheka still. But akaze angifuna makaze ngize ngala. Kube khona ama programs engiwenzayo because bengenayo database mhlambe yabantu abakhubazekile. Because as much as we come here today sifuna insiza lezi because they bona ba more those are communications and IT njengoba bekhuluma how they want to empower us as persons with disabilities. But siyazazi inkinga zethu. Ngijoba eshilo uDM ngilider ye disability nationally. Then we province futhi it is iconic committee. So not just I think when it comes to opportunities la unafunayo ngizozama ukuthola register but ngiyacela usihlalo angithinte so that nami ngize la we find a venue ngize with ama programs because also on my side siyakwazi ukuthola ama companies afika bonke okay na khula singaxhasa khona so I need numbers. Uthi mangase ngithi inkampani thizeni ngicela ungitrainela abantu ngicela ungiphela abantu umsebenzi abangaka fanele ngifike namagama yabo so yes so ngiyacela ukuthi ngizokhuluma nawe sihlalo you get the names down for me then it's my job ukuthi ngihambe ngiyonokha kule minyango enginokha kuyondalela nakunabantu abangaka abadinga ukuthi abangaka benza ukuthi abangaka so eyami number angayithatha usihlalo kwamanje 074
Okay, we will give it to them. We will.
Okay, and so nigas nisenzo ithatha. Yeah. Right. 876. Okay, 876 1190. Yeah.
074 876 1190. Okay. Do you have it now? 074 876 1190. Okay. And okay, so now you have an opportunity. You see, you said you wanted a job opportunity. There you have one. Okay. I'm not your darling. That I'm sure of. Okay, so I'm just going to ask Sharon and what is your Kuni. Sharon is from Siafunda. They will do a presentation tomorrow, but now they're just doing an introduction of who they are, and the same for Edit Micro. And then thereafter, I'll ask Ella to do the closing for today, and then we will release you because we are a little bit pressed in terms of your transport that needs to take you back because we started a bit late, unfortunately, due to the challenges we had in the morning. Sharon, you can go ahead.
Sanibonani. Okay, sizoyiqeda kusasa ngoba ilanga lethu lishort angithi. Igama lami Sharon. Igama lami Sharon Kwaza and we are from Siafunda. We are working very, very closely in DCT. We will do proper introductions tomorrow as we said, but basically Siafunda it educates, it connects and empower people, different people. It doesn't choose who are you. We empower people, we teach people skills that are needed, your digital skills, coding, robotics, that's what we do. But you will see more tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So you must come back tomorrow. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kuni from Edit Microsystems, and I want to say it's really a great privilege to stand in front of everybody here. And the other big privilege is having a big community that all agrees that all, people with all abilities needs to be able to raise up, right? So our companies provides a whole lot of range of inclusive technologies to help people enable them in their working environments and that as well. We do try and provide the products for the best possible pricing, but what we also just want to say today is, you know, it's not just a matter of dropping a box off to an individual, and people with different eye conditions, different abilities, needs more time and help with the assistive technology. We've got a team of speech therapists, occupational therapists. We've also got specialists, Carl there at the back, my colleague. Him himself is low vision. We've got people that's also blind. So it's people that is familiar with the technology and understands the requirements that they need to make sure that we can implement the technology, because it's easy purchasing technology, but if it doesn't accomplish what you want it to accomplish, help you in the working environment, it's a pointless having the devices. So we are to serve and try and see what we can help with. I'm personally dyslexic as well. We can help with a wide range of products and skills that we all familiar with, and we all have to work together. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Kuni. Thank you, Sharon. Kuni's company is a private sector company. Siafunda is a non-governmental organization. Remember this morning we said we work with private sector, we work with non-governmental organizations. We invited everybody, but they responded. So just to be clear so that we are all on the same page. I'm going to hand over to Ella Kekana. She's the Deputy Director for Gender in the Department of Communications, and she will do the closing for today. And then thereafter, we will be releasing you, and we will hopefully see you tomorrow again. Thank you from my side.
Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Ella Kekana. I'm a Deputy Director, Gender Mainstreaming and Disability. Before we close, I just want to start apologizing for any inconvenience that caused by today cliches and all that. We are saying we are deeply sorry about what happened, and it was beyond our control, as you are aware of the situation around here. We would like to say from the DCDT, even from the minister's, deputy minister's side, said this will never happen again. I think we'll need to communicate better with you. And firstly, I just wanna, in absentia, I just wanna thank our 2DM, Deputy Minister for our Deputy Minister for ICT and Deputy Minister for Women, Youth, Person with Disability. And also to thank our HOD from Social Development. We really appreciate, to spend the day. It has been a long day. I guess we are all tired. And our stakeholders, thank you for always when we are calling you, you come and save us. And to participant, I guess today's experience will not going to take us, for today's what happened. So what I'm trying to say is that tomorrow is the second session, and all of us, we are looking forward to it. And as we are closing our first session, I think the most important takeaway point, Mayor Linders, I think you'll advise me. I heard Deputy Minister talking about MGABABA minute. I think MGABABA minute will have to unpack it and follow all point out. The second one, I just want to summarize. They spoke about reviving the collapsed ICT Disability Forum. I hope next time when we come, we'll update you, of the progress. And Minister actually reiterated the inclusive design must benefit everyone and make sure that the skills person with disability train others. So those are the programs that as a DCDT will have to go back and look at and try to unpack and see how can we come up with a strategy to make sure that we implement. And lastly, they actually spoke about fostering culture of accessibility and inclusivity. So HOD, you spoke about no one has to be left alone. Indeed, let's keep pushing and pushing the boundaries of accessibility and create a digitally inclusive world. With all said, I would like to thank you and hope you'll go home safe and see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Safe travels, everyone, and see you tomorrow. Oh, the time tomorrow, I think it's 8:30. We're starting 8:30 for 9 because 8:30 is registration and the program starts at 9. So if we can please start at 9 o'clock because tomorrow is our last day and we have a lot of presentations that we need to fit in. You will be advised as you go back now. Hobby has already spoken to the drivers. They are aware of what the arrangements are, so they will advise you as you go out. I don't know if Hobby's going to make any announcements or they have met with the drivers, so the arrangements has been made in that regard. Yeah, thank you. So thank you so much and safe driving back. We'll see you tomorrow.